And there is the 20-year-old sensation who has a big matchup on pay-per-view against Javier Molina, 15-0, 14 knockouts from Casa Grande, Arizona. Jesus, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thank you, Ray. I'm doing good. How are you? Nice to see you again.
Oh, yeah, good to see you again. So for those that don't know, we just did the undercard Zoom press conference for all of the members that are a part of the pay-per-view undercard, yourself and Javier Molina, Sebastian Fundora, Jorge Cota, Abel Ramos, your uncle, and then Omar Figueroa Jr. But I want to ask you, what does it mean for you to be a part of this magnitude or a card of this magnitude?
You know what? It's amazing. It's something big for me. Growing up, we used to buy pay-per-views and we used to have big family cookouts. And I was always sitting in front of the TV, waiting, for the big fights and just watching all of them, And now I get to be a part of something like that. I get to be a part of a pay-per-view card. And hopefully, I inspire a younger kid, and that means a lot to me.
Now, you just turned 20 years of age, but I've known you since I think you were barely 18. I mean, you literally had just turned 18 because, to my knowledge, you had your first several fights down in Mexico, right? Because you have to be 18 years old or you have to get special permission, but you went down to Mexico first, right?
Yeah, we fought down in Mexico when I was 17. So, I had my first 8 fights down in Mexico.
What was that experience like? Because I kind of want to start from the beginning with you. What was that experience like, fighting guys that might have been double your age?
Yeah, it was definitely a great experience. I was fighting, like you said, older men, and they were strong. They had a lot of fights. And down in Mexico, I mean, they don't really count them. They could have 50 fights, and on BoxRec they just have 10. So it was difficult. It was difficult to really figure out who you were fighting, but we did it anyways. We fought those tough guys, and I think it served me right. I fought good guys that have led me to the guy I am right now, to the boxer I am right now.
I want to follow up on something that you said. Would you ever get in the ring as a 17-year-old against a guy that, let's say on BoxRec, I don't know, he was 4-6 or 3-7? You start the first few minutes of the first round, and you're like, there's no way this guy has just 10 fights. I mean, did you feel that?
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, you definitely did feel that. Sometimes too, even if the weight, there's no way, this guy made the same weight as I did. But it's things you had to deal with, and you just had to go with the flow.
All right, well, let's talk about your opponent on May 1st. You're going to be leading off the pay-per-view, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. Javier Molina, 2008 United States Olympian. He comes from a rich boxing family. So on paper, this is scheduled to be your toughest test. What are your thoughts heading into that matchup in less than a month?
I think he is a tough fight. I think he is my toughest fight, like you said, on paper. And, it's a big step up, but I think I've taken those step ups in my training camp. I've sparred with some of the best, and I feel like I'm ready for this. Javier Molina, he's an ex-Olympian. He's got a lot of experience. He brings a lot to the table, but I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I feel like I have a good style to beat him. And, he's never been stopped. So that's another goal of mine too. So it'll be interesting.
When also, I know that he lost to Jose Pedraza in his last time out, but before that, he fought on the Wilder Fury card, in February of last year in Las Vegas, and he beat Amir Imam. I mean, that's no easy task.
Yeah, he's fought some of the top prospects now. 140. At 147, he hasn't done too good, but at 140, he was doing good. He was on the roll, and he was on his way to a championship. But he got stopped by Pedraza, and that's a tough loss. So he's motivated. He wants to come back stronger, and that's why I have to be ready, and we can't take him lightly.
You've won 5 straight fights by knockout. Just one fighter has lasted the distance with you. What is the key to your power?
Honestly, it's to not look for the knockout. In my fights, I don't look for the knockout. I think that one fight, I did it a little too much. It was only a 4-round fight, so I felt like I was rushed and I had to knock him out. And I think that was my mistake. And ever since then, I've calmed down a little bit more, and I'm just more patient, and I place my shots better. I don't look for a knockout, like I said. I'm always just setting up my punches and working on different things. I always like to be creative. I like to set my stuff up, and I mean, the knockouts just seem to happen by themselves.
You know what impresses me about you, Jesus, because I've seen you for the past several years. It's been wonderful to watch your growth and your development, but you like to have a variety of punches that you throw at your opponents. It's not just, 2 or 3 punches. I see you throw uppercuts. I see you throw hooks from unorthodox angles. You have good balance, and you get good leverage behind your shots. So are you constantly thinking about mixing up your punches, or is it more reactionary than anything?
It's kind of both. Obviously some punches just are from reaction or from instinct, from practicing them so long. But of course, there's things that I set up. There's things that I want him to run into. I want to set these things up, and I'm always thinking in there. Like you said, I like to be creative with my punches. I like to throw from different angles, show different looks every time out, and I think that's what benefits me in the ring.
We're still dealing with COVID-19 here in the United States. So hopefully, with people getting vaccinated and, we're moving to, fans coming into stadiums and arenas now slowly but surely. But what has been training camp, or how's training camp been like? Are you guys still keeping, very disciplined and safe and things along those lines? Are things starting to open up a little bit for you?
Yes. From the beginning, it was hard. Last year when I got ready for my first fight in September, it was difficult. A lot of things were closed down, like you said. Now things are starting to open up a little more, and it's starting to look a little better. It's starting to make our life easier, in terms of training. But, there's still some restrictions, and we still got to stay safe. We're getting tested every week, so we try to keep ourselves safe and, a little bit away from everybody, just only go out if we need to. And, it helps us too with training camp because we can't really be going out too much.
So it allows you to really get in that warrior mindset.
Yeah, correct. You just, focused on what you're supposed to do.
There are going to be fans at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson on May 1st. Limited fans, AXS.com for tickets if you are in the area. They're going to be following state and local health guidelines. But how pumped are you to be walking out and having fans back in the arena and in the stadiums?
I'm very, very excited. The first time I stepped in the bubble, it was so much different, man. Just walking into an arena with no crowd and no one cheering you on. My family wasn't there. It was weird. As it went on, I got used to it. So now I'm kind of nervous to see how I react with crowd, But I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to have my family there cheering me on, my fans. And it's gonna be great, and it's a great card. It's Mexican versus Mexicans, all out, and I think a lot of Mexican fans are gonna come out, and I think that's what makes it more interesting. It's more exciting, and I'm just ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to live that moment.
I think it's crazy that mentally you prepared yourself once you got in the bubble to be fighting without fans, and you're kind of like getting accustomed to that, and like, all right, I kind of got the flow of this down. And now you got fans back, so it's adapting to that total, like how you used to be years ago. Yeah. That's what I'm nervous about because, like you said, I got used to being in there like a sparring session, and just me and my opponent, his corner, my corner, and commission, but nobody else. Just it was really a bubble. So now that there's gonna be fans and all that. I can't wait to see how it affects me, because I feed off the crowd, I like that energy. I like when people are yelling. I feed off of that. So it might help, and I can't wait to see that. So I know fighters have this level of focus that's on another level. And when you go ahead and you throw punches, right, and you're landing and the crowd goes ooh and ah and starts to kind of make some noise, do you hear that? Do you pay attention to that? Is that something that kind of comes into your conscience, or do you hear it afterwards? What happens there?
At the moment, I try to ignore it because I try to, I'm focused on my own thing, but it's always there, because I think subconsciously it's there and I'm listening to it. And, if I'm landing and people are getting excited, I'm getting excited. And, so it does help. It does help. But I think what helps the most is the ring walk, the ring walk and having people, yelling your name, cheering you on. And once you're in there, that's when you really have to zone them out because, I mean, it can affect you. But like I said, subconsciously, I know they're there. I know they're excited and I know how to put on a show. So, I mean, I don't know, it's 50-50, it's there, but at the same time, you got to zone it out.
So you're able to, sort of separate it. So you enjoy the fans when you're making your walk to the ring, but then as soon as you get in that ring, you zone out and you really lock into your opponent. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, you really lock in. I got to lock in and just focus on what I'm doing. I want to practice, training camp and all that. So, yeah, zone out and just focus.
So May 1st, we have Andy Ruiz Jr., Chris Arreola. It's going to kick off, Cinco de Mayo week, a festive celebration that Mexicans all over the world celebrate. You being a Mexican descent, do you take a special extra badge of honor fighting during that week, especially on pay-per-view?
Yes, of course. It's a huge day. It's a huge day for Mexicans, for Mexican fans too. I mean, Mayweather used to have that day and then Canelo. And now, I get to be a part of something, on that day. So it's huge. And I mean, like I said, this is a Mexican versus Mexican. The whole card is Mexican versus Mexican. So, it's huge. And me being a part of it, like I said, I was when I was little, we used to buy the pay-per-views and watch them. And now I get to do it. And now I get to do it in, one of these Cinco de Mayo weekends, where all the Mexican fans come out and they're all supporting. It's something big for me, and I'm honored. I'm honored to be part of something like this.
Now, you and Javier Molina were on the virtual press conference. Did you take anything away from it at all? And, something you could start and be like, okay, I didn't know that he was like that, or, oh, he said this. I mean, did anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, he said he had a respect for me. That stood out to me because, I am the younger opponent. And, he's a grown man and he's got respect for me. So I respect him for that, because I'm basically a kid, to him. And I don't know, I just felt, it felt good, to know that he respected me and of what I've accomplished so far. So I thank him for that. But like he said, once we're in that ring, it's nothing but business.
So you're only 20 years of age. You're 15-0, 14 knockouts, wiping out your opponents. Do you have a timetable in your mind as to when you want to fight for the world title? Is that something that you and your team talk about, or is it just, fight by fight? Is it year by year? What goes on when it comes to planning for Jesus Ramos Jr.?
I think my short-term goal has always been becoming a world champion at 21. I debuted at 17, and I always had that goal. I always had that in my mind, that I had to be a world champion at 21, and I've strived for it. And I think right now I'm in a good position, to make that dream a reality. And I just got to keep working hard, stay disciplined, and like you said, take things fight by fight. I can't overlook Javier Molina. I have to look good so I can keep, progressing. So I have to take him serious, but there is a time frame. I do plan on becoming a world champion at 21. And like you said, I'm 20, so I only have a year left, so I have to stay focused and stay disciplined.
When I see you in the ring against your opponents, you are a big welterweight, and you have these physical attributes that not many welterweights have. I haven't seen you against a guy that is your same size. Do you feel that size and that power advantage when you're in there against your opponents?
Yeah, I do. Of course I do, yes. I feel it, and, I am bigger, I am bigger than most of my opponents, and I think that's because of my age. I'm able to still make 147, but, I think as I grow older, I think I'm going to go into the 154, 160-pound division, maybe even 168, who knows, but as of right now, 147 is what I'm sticking to.
How long do you want to stay here at 147? Do you have that in your mind?
Yeah, I do. I want to belt at 147, and then I can move up. I wanted to do it at 140. You know, I was at 140, and I wanted to win a belt at 140, and then move up. But it was just getting too hard. It was getting too hard to make the weight. So now that we're at 147, I really want to win a belt at 147 and then move up.
How cool is it to once again be fighting on the same card as your uncle? I mean, you know, you have the Molina family that's well documented, but also, you know, you and your uncle, your father, your whole team. I mean, it's a family affair with the Ramos clan as well.
Yeah, it is a family affair, and like you said, it's the second time fighting together. You know, in less than a year in the same card, and it's huge. You know, because it's his first pay-per-view as well. So we have the opportunity to share this moment together. And it's important to us, and we're working extremely hard every day in the gym to make the best out of this opportunity.
What are your thoughts on your uncle's fight as Abel is going to be fighting Omar Figueroa Jr.?
I think it's going to be an action-packed fight. You know, I think styles make fights, and my uncle doesn't back down from anybody. And Figueroa, he likes to come forward. So I think it makes for an interesting fight.
Do you guys train together at the same time, or do you guys have different training camps?
No, we train together at the same time. He goes in 30 minutes before I do, so they get started with his network. But we're always there at the same time at the gym usually. We do morning workouts together, and we run all the time together. And sparring days, we're there at the gym at the same time.
Are there times when you're working on the bag and you look over at your uncle and I know your uncle and he knows one speed, and that's just, you know, full on ahead, all energy all the time. Are you hitting the bag, you look over at your uncle, and then you're like, man, if he's doing that and giving maximum effort, I got to pick it up?
All the time. It happens all the time. Like you said, he only has one speed, and he's always working the bag, and there's a puddle of sweat, you know, all around him. And I'm like, you know, he's working hard, so that means I had to work hard too. So, you know, some days I feel like I don't, you know, like not training. Some days I feel a little tired, but I see my uncle working hard, and he only has one speed, and that's why I'm like, you know, I have to train hard too. And he motivates me, and he pushes me too.
Well, let's say that COVID is behind us, right? And, you know, we're coming up, we're enjoying spring, summer is right around the corner, and someone were to go to the Ramos house for a cookout. Do you guys talk about anything besides boxing or anything else? I mean, or is it all just boxing talk and good food?
It's always tough. It's always tough to not talk about boxing. It's always there. You know, we're always, you know, this week was good. You know, talking about training, talking about other fights sometimes, you know, just, it's extremely hard. I mean, I'm sure if someone came to our cookout, you know, boxing would be the main topics.
That's how much you guys love it. You guys are just boxing lifers all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And sometimes it's not even just about us. You know, we're fans. You know, we're fans of boxing, and we're always watching boxing and just talking about other fighters and stuff like that.
Well, aside from your uncle, who are some guys you like watching inside the ring right now?
Right now, it all depends on the weight class. You know, the lower weight classes, I like to watch Inoue. You know,
okay.
the champion.
118-pounder.
118-pounder, yes. And then Luis Neri, he's another guy I like to watch. You know, Oscar Valdez, Jamal Herring, who just beat Carl Frampton.
Carl Frampton.
Yeah, I like to watch Jose Ramirez. You know, at the 147, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. You know, the Charlo brothers, Canelo. You know, I'm a fan. You know, I like to watch everybody.
All right, so aside from boxing, what are some hobbies that you have? I mean, you're 20 years of age, obviously in great condition, but as a 20-year-old, do you do anything that is typical of the standard 20-year-old?
No, I don't know. I mean, I think...
Do you play video games? Do you like watching baseball, basketball, football?
Yeah, I don't play video games at all. I don't know. I don't like video games. You know, I only like to play the boxing video games. And in other sports, I really don't watch any other sports but boxing. You know, when I'm not training, I like to spend time with my family. You know, my uncle, he's got a razor, so we're always on the razors. And we live in Arizona, so there's a lot of trails out here, and we're just exploring. But other than that, I always watch boxing. That's it.
All right. Well, that's definitely very exciting. I mean, there's no secret as to why you are where you are. On May 1st against, your opponent, you guys get ready to collide, you and Javier Molina. What can fans expect?
I think we're going to steal the show. I believe, like I said, Molina's coming off a loss, so he's super motivated. He's coming to fight, and I know he's going to put up a fight, and so am I. I'm not planning on losing anytime soon, so I'm working extremely hard, and I think that just makes for an all-out war. And fans can expect just that, an all-out war. Two fighters that are just we're willing to give it all for that victory.
And then the main event, Andy Ruiz Jr., Chris Arreola. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Man, I used to be a fan of Chris Arreola, back when he was coming up, when he was fighting for his dream, to become a world champion. And now to see, Andy Ruiz accomplish his dream. And now they're fighting is crazy, it's crazy. But I think Chris Arreola is a little past his prime. And I think Andy Ruiz looks focused. He looks dedicated. And I think it's going to be a good fight, but I see Andy Ruiz taking it.
And then finally, assuming all goes well against Javier Molina on May 1st on pay-per-view, Fox Sports PPV pay-per-view, what do you want to tell the rest of the welterweight division?
If everything goes good, to just watch out, because I'm coming, and I'm coming strong. And I'm learning every day. I'm learning different stuff, and I feel like once I'm ready, I'm coming to take over the welterweight division.
I got one more question for you because the fight's happening this Saturday. You mentioned how you love watching boxing. You pay attention to what's going on. You know where I'm going towards. Jaron Ennis matching up against Sergey Lipinets this Saturday night. I'm sure that's a fight you're paying attention to, but what's your analysis?
I'm a big fan of Ennis. He's a very promising prospect. I think he shouldn't be considered a prospect because he's up there. But he reminds me of a Terence Crawford, and I think Lipinets is his toughest opponent. I know Lipinets and I've trained with him, and he's tough. So I'm rooting for Lipinets. I wanted to pull it off. But like I said, Ennis is talented. He's extremely talented. I see him taking it. I see him proving a point and showing, the top guys right now at welterweight, who he is.
All right. Well, Jesus, thank you so much for your time, man. Greatly appreciated. We'll see you during fight week in a few weeks' time out in Los Angeles. Good luck, and can't wait to see you go out there and step inside the ring.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate your time, man.